oriented playstyle.
Sure.
Now he just wants to do more and more and more. The further you get behind someone, the more you want to make up that difference, the more you have to prove.
Yeah. And eventually it does flip. I mean, TSM had a terrible record against Cloud9 from way back in the day, where C9 was just the dominant North American team. And over time, TSM found ways to beat them as their roster got better and better. And here we have TSM as the best team in North America. Immortals hoping to dethrone them of that title at some point in the future. And Liquid hoping to belong on the podium right now. So you have the bans coming through. Aurelia, Karma off the table, Soraka and Rumble. Looks like very similar things.
Every time I see Immortals ban Aurelia versus Team Liquid, the video always comes to mind where Huni's talking about, oh yeah, the only thing I know about Lorlo, someone told me his Aurelia is scary. Like he's a one-trick Aurelia. You gotta ban it. And it looks like they do respect it there, even with Reignover's very, very significant preference for the champion.
Yeah.
Nothing really changing for the Team Liquid bans so far, as they're still banning out those key Huni and Adrian picks. Small variation is that one of the mages here is going to drop off Azir. Azir does find his place and takes the spot there on Team Liquid side of the ban phase instead.
So exactly, Immortals dropped their own Azir ban. They were willing to first pick it there, which prompted the ban from Liquid, and they added the Aurelia ban with it, which will change the top lane landscape somewhat, especially with Ryze getting first picked here.
Yeah,
it's actually a reasonable flex.
That should be a lock-in, just because both of them can use it as the carry champion. You know, possability still has the option of going Victor or something like that as well in the mid lane, but very versatile pick. Just still strong even after the nerfs. You know, some teams have actually started to shy away from it, but the vast majority of games where he's not banned, he is still picked.
Yeah.
It's mostly considered a fluke if he gets through picks bans.
Yeah, actually, if you kind of do the math, and it's a stat that I want to start tracking, is the adjusted pick rate, like pick rate of unbanned games. It's 14% of the 25% of games he's not banned. It's what, 3/5 of the time you're seeing him grab the North America when available. Adjusted
pick rate is basically pick ban.
Yeah, pick rate divided by unbanned rate.
Now on the other side though, the Braum, which was previously first pickable, going to be the case here again. Dardoch abandons the Graves that he has so much confidence in, steals away the Rek'Sai. Going to try and push Reignover onto something like his Olaf or see what else he has to offer. Reignover's Elise also, by the way, is always something that's very potent and very much forgotten, which it should not be, because when he's on Elise, he jump starts both Pobelter and Huni as far as the solo lanes go. He spends so much time up and down the river, trying to gank for those guys and get some early presence in his solo lanes.
And as Dardoch was talking about earlier, the stats across these two players, Reignover is the assists per game leader of all junglers. It's not like he's just killing jungle monsters while his team wins the game. He's in those fights, just not getting the last hits based on the champions he's playing. I know Immortals are very good at making sure they give over the last hits to the proper players. You actually saw that in an earlier series, actually. As they're like running down, like hoping Hoodie can get the last hit, but he can't reach it, so Pobelter takes it. Speaking of him, he's going to be up against Victor in the matchup as Liquid lock in a very similar comp from before.
Yeah, I would definitely assume that's locked in. Okay, the Olaf is secure. Reignover, they need him to be that full tank building for the front line, especially when facing Jhin. We're going to reiterate that every single time facing Jhin, but it is going to be Pobelter taking up the Zilean. So they still have such a good mix of damage here on the Immortal side. Whereas Team Liquid, they've got the Victor wave clear, as well as the long-range pick potential of Jhin, plus the early threat of Jhin Braum in lane. I'm still really hoping for our featured matchup to shine in standard lanes, and we really get to see more early influence from Dardoch and Reignover. But I think that this might be another attempted lane swap, a way that it's opening up once again.
Sivernami could be a very interesting 2-on-2, seeing how it plays out. Braum, Jhin, definitely reasonable in their own right. We'll see what happens. Trundle is going to be the pick into the known Ryze top here. So Lorlo on a fighter, which is a strategy that tends to work better for Liquid than him playing a tank.
Yeah, I think that Team Liquid are definitely going to look for a lane swap, unless they're so confident that Dardoch can get to that Ryze Trundle matchup early.
Yeah,
he can't. Ryze can really gain control of the side brush in a top lane 1-versus-1 isolated match so easily. It's pretty hard. Even though Trundle is, one of the best, it's far as melees go.
Yeah, his sustain got nerfed at 613, so Rise, you imagine, can probably push him out. Haven't seen the matchup played since those changes, so it changes the landscape somewhat, where normally Lorlo could just withstand all the punishment. But they have a similar backline to before, the same Jhin, the same Victor, the same Braum they had in the previous game, just a new front line for themselves, really. Trundle and Rek'Sai replacing the Shen and the Graves from the last one. Better new look for Liquid, the mage in the top lane now, but another fighter plus a Zilean and a Sivir. This
again looks pretty scary for Fabi, as the Sivir and Zilean are going to enable Olaf and Rise to run straight for the back line here. We'll see how well they can peel Rise. Olaf, definitely good luck peeling him because he doesn't care. And he's going to have extra speed, too.
And a tidal wave coming through on top of it. So great 5-on-5 available for Immortals. We'll see if it works out for them. Liquid and Immortals fans, time to show off your love you have for your favorite team. Jump on Twitter and send us the best photos of you and your squad's team spirit. We're looking for jerseys, mugs, painted faces, all of the ways you show your support for these teams on stage right now. Tweet us at LoL eSports, hashtag #LockIn. Let us know how you're watching these teams do battle, because we are into game 2. Immortals 1-0 over Liquid. Liquid hoping to bring it to game 3.
All right, we'll take a look at the spread. Last time I was tricked by the initial defensive spread from both squads.
Those scumbags.
They very well could still seek that lane swap a bit later, go for the blind swap. Again, I think that Team Liquid do not want Lorlo Trundle versus Huni Rise in an isolated situation. There's a turning point there where Rise gains control of the side. Rainover really early
to force Fabi's eventual flash. Exhaust Azani flashes over towards his teammates, and Adrian actually not part of this one. So 2 summoners burned for 1. However, the Immortal summoners are shorter cooldown.
You definitely want your lane swap now. You've got a Jhin out there. He doesn't want to be in standard lanes. Versus Olaf, whose Ghost is going to come up much quicker.
But look, this by Immortals are trying to bait it out. They're hoping that Fabi recalls and runs up to that side of the map.
Yeah, this is the mind games, right?
Yep.
Your blind swaps, your blind swap calls. And Team Liquid at the moment going to leave him down bottom.
Okay, so lane swap game here. Huni will walk in a lane and not see very much. I want to see if Rainover gets a leash or if he just solos the blue buff. Looks like
should be just solo it for Olaf. He doesn't
really
care about getting low. It actually helps him.
Yeah, prefers to take a bunch of damage. So standard stuff otherwise here. And yeah, no big problems. Nami, Sivir very slow at killing Gromp. They actually might miss some CS as a result. Lorlo leashes for Dardoch on the top side of the map, who should be just fine here. They see that Trundle's up there, which means that Nami gets to run around the map, and Adrian immediately reacts to seeing Trundle and says, I'm going to mess with Dardoch, who does not have Smite. And never mind, Adrian comes back.
All right, we'll see if any of the teleports get interrupted this time around, as both top laners trying to soak up experience. Lorlo gets fully zoned out, though, doesn't get the dying experience of the ranged minion. Huni, the exact same. They both got 3 melees, and that's it.
It's about the best you can hope for here as he joins up Rainover for a short time, helping him knock down the red buff. Looks like Huni's really not going to be joining the turret take just yet until he probably teleports in.
Yeah, so what you want to do is use your teleport on the minion that gets to the tower first, so that you can have a quicker push. But Immortals, their top side, hasn't pressed the minions up to that point yet, so he's saving his teleport for that point. He might even actually just walk up since they're taking so long, as he talked about the Gromp taking a long time for the Immortals duo. Huni might not even use his teleport, to protect the minion and just hoof it up here. But ends up walking halfway, then using the teleport anyways. Does defend the minion, is going to get the large wave push. And that should be just fine for them. They're a little bit behind in turret health at the moment, but they should be able to catch up because Team Liquid's minion wave will die.
It's like, oh, it's going to be, no, just in time. Okay, they got it all to happen. They're going to be fine here. Do you want to point out Turtle missed the cannon minion? Unlucky, but it happened. Some gold missing down the drain, and you're seeing a 200 gold lead for Liquid. Better at last hitting. Look at that. That 50 gold difference in 80 carries. Wow. Massive, obviously.
There it is. Solo gold. Thank you very much. Huni, thank you very much as well. Let's see. The deep ward is there for both teams as well, so they can see when the duos head into that lane, and they can start the solo laners can start hard pressing, trying to scramble for all the CS they can get before they have to evacuate this ward. They don't even care about it being in tower range.
They just want to know if Fabi's coming. And now they know. It watches both the exits. Nice by Fabi. He W's the brush, make sure no one's hiding in there.
It's like, is this some sort of mind game?
Yep. Doesn't trigger Thunder.
Right here.
You notice that he doesn't trigger the Deathfire Touch Mastery. It would pop up if he hit someone. It says, okay, no one's in that brush. I can walk in the lane safely. Matt joins him. They're just fine up there. And they go into round 2 of the lane swap, where the AD carries and supports are once again unopposed. And you typically see someone join them. And somehow Liquid are on a small gold lead at this point in time. It's usually minion wave based. And Adrian, oh, he didn't actually get the heal to bounce.
Yeah. Well, you don't want to go any deeper than that.
Yeah.
Pillar might
Flash Pillar would
cause you to blow your own flash,
yeah.
and maybe even Turtle's heal or something to try and save him. But doesn't commit to it, so it's just fine. Health potions will be able to make that up. Both teams just answering here with their Lorlo a little bit further behind.
Smite fight once again. Dardoch wins.
Vengeance
this time Dardoch wins.
Yeah, Vengeance this time for Dardoch. Gets the Wolf Spirit. That was the greedy side for Reignover to be on, though.
Right. Well, it just makes that jungle quadrant even safer for Liquid to run through. Once again, fighting for Raptors. Neither has Smite, so it's a close battle here. Both mid laners joining in.
They better kill it quick, though. Reignover's is going to come off cooldown, and he'll get the reset. Now it's off cooldown. He should be able to secure it. But Dardoch is up. Round 2.
Yeah, it's in the rush, though. Gets it. Reignover this time wins. Sorry, buddy. Nothing good for you. Liquid knocked down the top lane outer turret first. Immortals shouldn't be far behind. But Liquid has still managed to scrounge up more farm overall. You can see this turret's only worth 800, but it's a 1,200 to 1,000 gold lead actually for Immortal, or Liquid rather, otherwise.
Yeah, a decent amount of that is in the mid lane. You can see the CS advantage for Phoenix on the Victor. About 200 there.
Yeah, you actually, if you look at the individual comparisons, Hooney's up 100, Reignover's up 70, 200 for Phoenix.
I think we're getting a little bit too microscopic here with 70.
Nothing's happening, all right? Yeah, you're right. 70's a bit low, but
what's our threshold for early game?
Probably 100
gold differences that actually matter.
I would generally round to 100. If it's not, if you can't round it to at least 100, I think it doesn't count.
Yeah,
that's what I'd go for. Matt, interesting choice actually. Rushing mobility boots. That is pretty atypical on supports. It happens more in Korea overall, but champions like Braum and Alistair who can go for the early sort of gank, the early playmaking. Matt is sacrificing vision to try to get himself into a random lane and maybe upset Pobelter.
Definitely agree. The Sightstone will be delayed in the lane swap situation, though. Everybody sticking to their own sides, pretty much honoring the battle lines here as they've been drawn. A little bit, tiny bit greedy here from Dardoch to start on the weak side, but just saw the recalls from the rest of the Immortals team, so plus he can rely upon the Tremor Sense. I think that first tick did see Reignover. Yeah, he drops his pink ward though, so maybe he thought it was yeah. I think if you see that first tick of the Tremor Sense, then save your ward, just get out of there. Looks like it's going to be a defense map for Team Liquid, though. They don't want to continue trading turrets here and open up the map. They'd much rather defend secondary and try and retake control. They're going to catch this minion wave.
They're going for the play onto Hooney. Flash away. Only level 4 on this rise. Healed up by Adrian. Matt walking in. Gets the passive on once again. Look at the damage on the Braum. He kites away successfully. Reignover running back and forth. And ooh, the quick revive, but now Reignover out of HP. The first blood goes over to Fabi with the curtain call. Hooney still dangerously low. The chase in for Lorlo. He can't quite win it. Takes a heal. Dardoch onto Adrian. And Nami can't survive, so that's a kill picked up. 2 for Liquid. A third comes in as a nice snipe comes through for Dardoch. A trade kill in thanks to Pobelter knocking down Matt, but 3-1 advantage. Liquid finally getting a good early game against Immortals.
Huge picks in their own jungle, and the crucial thing is that they had just hit the level 6 for Fabi. Jhin ultimate's so powerful in these early picks in the jungle where it's really easy to hit. I think he's able to hit all 4 bullets here as Fabi roams down. They have him in this corridor. It's very tight, allows for multiple knockups, great Trundle pillar. Hooney doesn't get to do anything before his first life goes down. Then Dardoch also gets blasted. easy lasers, easy Victor ultimates. I mean, everything here for Team Liquid funneled through this little corridor, and they're able to chase Immortals out. Bomb doesn't end up killing Matt, I don't think, right?
Does,
oh, it does.
Even hit Thunderlord.
So they got, yeah, sorry. So they did get the counter kill at least for one there for Immortals, but still, such an uplifting opening here for Team Liquid after their first loss. That is going to help the team try and rally and keep this series alive. We talked about the mental fortitude of this Team Liquid team. Back when they had that game that was remade on them versus Cloud9 when they were down a game, and they still were able to rally and come back in a series. Immortals, though, we always talk about not letting up on the pressure. They get right back out on the field. They threaten for the Drake. It is stalled out here by Team Liquid, though. Not going to let them get away with that.
Right, but yeah, you were talking about Immortals keeping the pressure on. Games never look like Immortals are down in goal. Even if they are, they're always very quick to the scene. They're always proactive, and they often ignore the small goal deficits they can sometimes get into from their aggressive plays. And they invited Liquid to not react in time, but thankfully for Liquid, they did.
Yeah, and there have been games where that does end up costing Immortals as well. We talked about Team Liquid when they're behind. They keep trying for a lot of these plays, even low percentage plays. Same thing goes for Immortals. And specifically, a lot of those plays usually start around Huni. So our eyes are definitely going to be around the Rise, around Huni, who is just sitting on the mana items right now. Dardoch on the ward going to start out this Drake. Because Reignover's up on the top side, it should be pretty free. It would only be a Sivir Boomerang to steal it. Turtle has a knack for stealing these things, though.
Not going to come out in time. Good combo right there. Dardoch did not smite, but the crit came through from Fabi. And they're all good to go. Early Ocean Drake's not a bad thing for Liquid here. As you look for a play, Adrian slowed down by the chair into the everything. Smack down he goes. Fabi, 2-0-1 with an armor pen build, will scale rapidly into this mid game.
Yep, he's building for the more quick end here for Team Liquid, and that was a perfect pick to help them snowball this lead that they've already got. That is Olaf, so he could just get himself out of that situation if need be. Team Liquid, though, they are overloading this bottom side after the pick.
And nice by Matt, puts the shield up to block all the AoE out of Wild Turtle Sivir. Reignover, I believe, did land the axe on that Krug up there, so we took the big one back and did not allow Dardoch to steal. So a small gain, I guess, or preventing a loss. Lorlo does not get stopped in time. That last quarter second, your recall will complete unless CC'd.
Yep, or unless you die.
Actually, no, it's 0.01 seconds now, actually. That got changed a while back. So that's a really tight timing. And fortunate for Lorlo.
Yeah, might have been able, probably could just walk away with, but the delaying the back and delaying him moving up to catch this top wave would have been a little something back for Immortals as they try and recover from that early invade. Remember when Immortals, though, punished Team Liquid early on in Game 1, and they got this sort of a lead.
Yeah.
It was just that one mistake from Team Liquid early game. Couple of early kills over to Immortals, and they snowballed like crazy.
Yeah.
The question here is, can Team Liquid do the same thing? Team Liquid have a team that's very capable of that. They have the champions to do it. We saw it already. Multiple picks here with Jhin. Fabi opening up very quickly on the low health targets. The question is, can they actually pull it off here against Immortals, and transition into the mid game where they continue to take the turrets. The last outer here is the mid turret. They need that to open up the jungle. Yeah, start taking that away from Reignover, but not starting quite yet.
And Liquid don't have a lot of very powerful champions. So Dardoch has 2 kills. He's really big. He can impact the map a lot. But you look at Lorlo right here in the top side of the map. He'll match up level 7 at the end of this wave, but you can see the minion difference is pretty large. And Uni has a lot of priority in that top lane.
Yeah, that's why it really is emphasized on Fabi, because Fabi's got the early 2 kills as well, and he's got an early Ghost Blade.
Ooh, 1 tick on the turtle, 2 ticks, 1 dodge, 4th shot missed as well. A re-slow into the flash knockup, and Dardoch should be getting this kill, but at what cost? They're running out of HP, and he actually can't kill off Turtle. Zillion buys enough time that it all just happens well, but they picked off Huni. There's the zap, there's the pickoff. But with this going down, he does not quite get stunned, gets healed off, but A lot of damage still coming out of the Chaos Storm.
Killer
Low
spam.
HP. Pole Belter's low. The flash auto attack comes through. Fabi gets another. It's 3 kills for 1. Liquid finding another advantage.
Again, opened up by the Jhin. They're able to catch out the bottom line. Everybody teleporting down, and it turns into the 10-man party.
And it's funny because one of the things we talked about with Liquid when they made the roster swap is, well, they don't have to play around bot lane anymore. It's not the Piglet show anymore. But look at this. It's Fabi and Matt starting all the plays.
Whoa.
And the rest of the team constantly going to their lane.
Good hesitation step there from Adrian.
Yeah.
Tapping the S key so he didn't get snared up, because that would have been the kill. Rom could have finished up the stacking the passive. Here we go, though. Turtle actually does a good job of dodging the last 2 and surviving a little bit. But Darduck comes in, flashes for the knockup. Let's look at that Huni teleport. So deep there. He actually sacrifices on the front side while Rainover is able to clean up that one on Darduck. And then the chase from Team Liquid. Pillar spam plus Jhin. Jin's ability to chase people. Unpellet. Ends up in an extra kill, but let's snap back to live here. We said we were going to keep our eye on Huni and see if there were any more of those very aggressive moves by him. He's pretty far up in lane, but he should be able to run back to his teammates.
Yeah, dodged away from the root, and now curtain call once in. Nope. Yep, misses and turns it off. Just kidding. No encore after all.
Immediately cancels, so he refunds some of the cooldown.
Actually, I guess if you stop the curtain call, does that mean there is an encore? Like, I forget what exactly curtain call means. Dash would know. I'm sure he's like, I know this one. I'm always with the wrong caster, because like Zyrene also did like some drama stuff in school. We had the moment arm where you weren't here, but you told me after the cast with the Lucian guns.
Yeah.
I'm always with the wrong caster when I come up with terminology.
I'm going to go ahead and say curtain call is the very end of the show. So what you went with second, correct.
Right.
Meanwhile, Siver's been pushing up this bottom side, the split push here from Turtle. Lorlo's gone to catch that wave, and now trying to push it back the other way as Team Liquid try and pressure all 3 lanes and do a sort of Immortal style full map pressure here with their lead. Remember, this is still a meager lead. This is only 1,000 gold. This is not huge combat effectiveness. That's a big difference between these guys. Mainly, it's the fact that not only did Fabi get a lot of these kills, but he's also an early game build. Fabi has super high flat armor penetration.
Which scales off over time.
This is the most efficient flat armor penetration build you can go. Serrated Dirk is where the value of flat armor penetration is even derived from.
Right.
And then Ghostblade, pretty much 100% efficiency there, even more with the active. Yeah. So he is really threatening to Nami, Sivir, and Zillion right now. Even Ryze. Huni is still considered fairly squishy.
Only 42 armor on Ryze. Actually, both Turtle and Adrian have more than him. So certainly a consideration. Huni the least armored target on the team. And another Drake goes in. Double Ocean actually means a lot of siege power for Liquid, but no other stats for them. We can stay out on the map very long. Maybe that comes into play here.
Immortals are doing a good job keeping up the wards. They've got a lot on this top side, allowing Huni to push up, allowing to get more farm onto that Ryze so that he can become the mid-game powerhouse that we all know and love. They also need that vision to avoid these picks.
Yeah.
Because that's what Team Liquid are going to continue looking for.
Norlo's still playing second fiddle here. You're seeing him give away a lot of the farm, right? He killed some of the minions and walked away and said, Fabi, it's all yours. I'm just kidding, buddy. Lorlo with a very defensive build as well. You can see the early Spectre's Cal, but now is finishing towards Ravenous Hydra. A bit surprising to not see him just complete going tank.
Yeah. It's not like they're giving him the super short end of the stick, though. They're just sending him bottom to catch that other wave, so just trying to have Fabi in the top side a little bit more isolated. They have some protective wards over there for him.
Right. There's no Drake up for a while, but Baron's in under 2 minutes, so keep your teleport on the opposite side of the next objective to play for. Keep your dual lane near it, so standard lane assignments for Liquid. Keeping up with some of the basic shot calling components. You can see Immortals doing very similar things.
Yeah. And Immortals still are going to have that strategy. You know, they're going to have Rainover, extra speed, boost him up so he can get to Fabi and try and shut him down, as Jhin has a hard time dealing with things like that on his own. However, what Team Liquid should do if Immortals just try and run straight through them and get to the back line, Lorlo, uh-oh, never mind. Poebelter's under attack.
He's slowed down, he's knocked up, he's gonna actually gonna wait it out. No, he ticked down to the red buff, and the gravity well's gonna time out anyway. They're not quite gonna get the damage. Not quite putting the resources properly, but now Rainover maybe staying around a little bit too long, getting heavily injured. Look at how little health he's got.
Yep, that huge chunk on both members of Immortals is gonna mean that Team Liquid should be able to move in for turret damage here. Huni's moving up the river, you can see, and Poebelter does have teleport.
But Poebelter's just waiting over the wings, tossing double bombs around.
Rainover's the one who went back to heal.
So Huni loses priority on the bot lane because of the mid lane pressure. He has to defend for Liquid. Poebelter, another recall stop, but now Matt taking some damage. Bubble on as well, plenty of CC, and he's actually dropped below half HP. Dardock actually does not finish the red steals. Huni knocks it down. Red buff rise, and yeah, Matt dangerously low can no longer be part of this fight. So no real capitalization from Liquid.
No, actually a really good defense from Immortals there. Not only do they not give up any ground, but they also chunk out Team Liquid very heavily. Remember, there's 2 Ocean Drakes, though, for Team Liquid, so chunks like that aren't going to cost them a lot of map pressure, and Immortals can't really get an objective back on their own. Really, it's just the defense there. They didn't lose their red buff. They didn't lose extra damage on their mid turret.
Yeah, the big up that Liquid has for this is basically everyone's going to have infinite mana on this roster. Lolo can constantly spam Bite and always be topped off, and Phoenix, if he ever loses a blue buff,
oh, Turtle.
Now Turtle, ooh, a bad tunnel taken by Dardico. He didn't know where he was because of Tremor Sense. He didn't have any real vision.
Yeah.
Guessed incorrectly. Turtle gets away. Fortunately, gold's still only 1,000 ahead. And you mentioned it before in the cast, Kobe. If Immortals had that 1,000 gold lead, they'd have been smashing this game already, most likely. Liquid not quite able to pull the same sort of plays you imagine Immortals might have.
Yeah, it seems like Team Liquid really rely on Jhin and Braum picking people off. Dardock does have flash, so there's a possibility of Rek'Sai getting in there for the flash on Burrow. But it has been respected by Immortals. Immortals have plenty of speed on the Sivir and Zilean for pretty much everyone to remain safe.
See Rainover, he's going to go for the knockup, actually. Here comes Braum as well. This should force out Rainover's ultimate. If he, yeah, because look at the damage coming across. He's got to pop it to run away. Definitely hurt as the team came across. Lorla runs away.
Yeah, got to be very scary. This Ryze has a huge CS lead.
Yeah.
His 2 main items are completed. This is pretty much where the biggest spike for Ryze does come from.
Right. 8-stack Rod of Ages and Seraph's done, so he's basically built up the big ability power. The question then is, does he go Void Staff third to be a better glass cannon, or Guardian Angel third to make sure he can survive the fight season? Lorlo continuing to build towards his Ravenous Hydra. He's actually stopped building tank stats for a while. The Spectre's Cowl and the Merc Treads were first, and now he's just squishy. By comparison, Adrian taking a whole bunch of damage while Turtle spell shields 1, keeps his teammate afloat. And because he took no damage, did not get rooted either, but now damage onto Rainover, losing a lot of his health bar down to 2/3. He's going to be okay on this one. We'll get the game sounds back soon. Don't worry about it, everybody. Because right now, Liquid just trying to pressure the top side, and they can't get it really done.
Yeah, I mean, they are holding it for Lorlo to move up on the other side of the map, but Huni's going to go answer him. Level 11 Ryze, as we said, spiking very strongly right now. The Rod of Ages is almost fully stacked, and the Seraphs is completed. So Huni right now is feeling very confident, even though he's 0-2.
Yeah.
Very, very strong, and you do have to respect the 2-item spike from him. So Lorlo should probably back off, as he does. Team Liquid going to respect Immortals engage at this time. Remember, Immortals also are running the double teleport. So there is that cross-map potential.
I do think it's interesting the way Huni is building. He is going towards Void Staff third, which is not always the most common, but he is with this Zilean on his team. So he's picking a more glass cannon riskier build. However, the risk on him is much lower thanks to his teammates, and I actually think I quite like the choice there.
Yeah, I mean,
nice blue up.
It's kind of a weird debate because, you know, 1 revive is great. 2 revives is still great in itself. I mean, then you have one that you could use on someone else.
Yeah.
Or just pick him back up a 3rd time.
Sure. But if you're not under threat, of course, you want to maximize damage. So it's him forecasting that he's under little enough threat that he wants to go more glass cannon. That's the choice he's going to make. We'll see how it plays out here in this one. As Immortals once again just holding on to the mid lane. Rainover did have to smite his own blue buff away, by the way. We saw that a second ago. So Poebelter, you can see, has no real mana regeneration in his build, has no Ocean Drake to speak of for himself. Liquid actually getting all the out-of-combat Drakes, actually.
Are they going to give up a secondary turret for this, though? Yeah, 3 Drakes is great, and Cloud Drake, you know, when all the turrets are down, you have a lot more space to run around, but
look at that.
Another turret for Immortals here, and that one is actually going to tie the gold perfectly for them.
Duskblade coming out of Fabi. Morty probably next up, so still pushing for that flat armor pen build. But as the third items come in for the AD carries, you imagine Wild Turtle's going to be a lot better once he gets his Infinity Edge compared to Fabi's furthered armor penetration.
Yeah, again, it's the Sivir late game AoE crits versus the Jhin damage that can be stopped by a single tank. That's why I'm saying what the team fight is going to look like here for Team Liquid, or should, if Immortals run right into them, I would say that Lorlo should immediately ult Reignover, shred Reignover, just burn down the Olaf. You do not run. Stand your ground. If Team Liquid can stand their ground and burn down the Olaf as he runs in,
they're looking to burn down Wild Turtle. He already spell shielded the
Where is
Dardoch is just running away. He's on the wrong side of this one. He didn't know Immortals was there. And suddenly a long armistice is broken as Dardoch gives his life away.
What in the world?
He wanted to steal red. He thought he could beat Wild Turtle after he saw him, but he had no backup.
We mentioned before Svenskeren and the way that he's been playing with TSM in our discussion of junglers. It's all team-oriented. Jungling is so much a team activity. You cannot go for a single man red buff steal at 25 minutes into the game.
Yeah.
Rek'Sai or not, relying on Tremor Sense is still risky, and he gets punished so heavily here. Team Liquid look like they're beginning to question themselves even after the early lead in this game. And Immortals have done a good job of slowing the pace, pausing the game after that early misstep. Sitting on a ward the whole time, yeah.
He has no one. Oh, so he cues it. He's like, okay, I'm going to kill the ward. The red's coming towards me. And then suddenly they're already behind him.
Yeah, I mean, suddenly.
He could tunnel right, I feel like.
Into Huni and then flash away. But Reignover's there.
Yeah, they just all ended up being there. And the thing is, you look where the rest of the waves are, and Immortals had lane priority. Top lane was pushing, and bot lane was pushing.
Exactly. Regardless of, you know, regardless of the paths he could have taken once he got into that situation, we look back at how he got into that situation, and he has no pressure from any of the members of the rest of his team to really consider doing that.
Yeah. The thought is always you can't be that far ahead of the rest of your team. They've got to be able to threaten joining you. Be there to help if something goes slightly awry, and that was just simply not a possibility. Dardoch with an unfortunate rookie mistake, and it now means that Immortals have a gold lead for the first time really in this game. It's only 200 gold, but it certainly means something as Liquid hope to maybe push a bit farther forward.
Yeah. As they're kind of calming down right now, we can further examine the philosophy there, you know, and what's going on in the players' minds. Everybody knows that feeling, right? Where you have an idea in your head where you see some opportunity to gain an advantage for your team, and you want to take it. But if the circumstances are not correct for you to take it, if you don't have your teammates, you know, reading your mind or communicating to them or in position to back you up, even though theoretically that could be the right play if everyone was there to back you up, can't make that choice. Sometimes you have to pass by opportunities if you're not prepared to take them with the rest of the squad. And now Immortals actually have Turtle getting caught. And there's an opportunity.
Turtle getting knocked up. It's going to be a whole lot of damage, and Dardoch picks the kill up. Matt stops the tidal wave, and Reignover, ulti or not, is running with his ghost to get away. He will survive the encounter, but now Liquid are playing without an enemy AD carry.
Pobelter now gets knocked up.
Ooh, a bit too far up for him. He's not going to get sniped just yet. Dardoch, a great bubble from Adrian to buy some time. But here's the Chaos Storm and the Pillar. It's forcing the revive. Nowhere for Pobelter to go. He should die at this one.
This is huge for Team Liquid. Oh, Hoodie's coming in too.
It's a 3v5 though. Can Immortals really get anything done? Nope. It's going to be the snipe by the Reignover. Why do Immortals even go in? They give away another kill. That should mean Baron for Liquid.
Yep, this is a huge opening for Team Liquid. The only way is Huni makes a hero 1 versus 5 play here at the Baron. Can Rise kill them all?
He's going to look for it alongside Adrian, but Lorlo is tanky enough. He's built some MR. flashes out of the bubble. There's no chance at a smite. Actually, there's no smite up for Dardoch, so theoretically things can happen, but they pick it up.
Great screen there from Lorlo. He goes to use his life as a body blocker there to make sure there's no play from Huni and Adrian to sneak in and start damaging the team. You have to screen for Baron like that to make sure the rest of the squad can pick it up, and then he uses his flash to get out. This is exactly what we were talking about. The Jhin picks. Team Liquid, they see Wild Turtle, Dardoch is in position, immediately Fabi opens up, they're able to get the kill on the most important member, and then Immortals starts marching in.
And they just picked off Huni.
One by one here.
Dead on this one already, so they get to push in and get a whole lot done. Liquid now looking very good in this second game, cresting the half-an-hour mark with the Baron buff on, with a lot of gold off of it, and this could mean several turrets.
Baron buff, March continues, Dardoch's going for the dive.
Another ill-fated defense, possibly by Immortals. Rainover and Wildwood are putting some damage on towards Dardoch. The snipes all miss. If Fabi had hit those, I think Rainover would have been dead, actually. So
definitely would have.
Missed accuracy.
It is a lot of speed on the Immortals squad. They've got Silver Ultimate running, so everyone's zigzagging, but Immortals are making a lot of back-to-back unforced errors here. Yes, Turtle got picked, but Pobelter walking up, getting the chain kills here for Team Liquid is what made this such a monumental mistake from Immortals and huge, huge turning point for Team Liquid in this series.
Wow, so there we go. Liquid looking to make the upset happen. Right now, 3,000 gold up, double Cloud, double Ocean. They can play the rotation game and stay on the map so easily with this kind of setup. We'll see if they can continue to outshot call. This is, of course, still much more work to do. They still got to finish this game. It's not the biggest of leads. They've also got to get it through to game 3, but
yeah.
As Walter said, they weren't happy with how their series went against Envy. It was closer than they meant it to be. Their aspirations are going to Worlds to challenge TSM, to be the top dog in NA. And they are slipping a little bit in this game too.
And it has to be Immortals playing as a team. They had gained so much strength when they're a 5-man squad and they can cohesively try and dive Team Liquid, but everyone being spread out, everyone marching in one by one after the fact of a team member going down, give Team Liquid a huge advantage in this game and the opportunity to even up the series and force a game 3.
See if they can do it right here. Baron's still on for just under a minute as we figure out how they want to play the Siege game. They ping their top wave, say, hey, it's pretty far away. That's 20 seconds to go. There's nothing to fight for otherwise. Mid lane cleared pretty rapidly by Pobelter. And now Wild Turtle is here to defend on the left side of the map. Immortals have roamed over. Wave cleared in. There's the melee minions. Ricochet comes across, but here comes the dive. They want Wild Turtle. He ults out, and he's going to stay alive for now. Bubble hits Dardoch, but here comes the curtain call, and Pobelter's one attacked here, and he blows up, not getting to cast the Chrono Shift. So a 1-for-0. The snipes coming across, and now Rainover attacked and slowed and rooted and picked up, and Phoenix is unstoppable. Into the back line they go. Adrian drops as well. Huni was split pushing the whole time. There's a triple for the mid laner.
Oh.
It's a 5 versus 1. Liquid own the base.
Huni's going to cut off the minion wave here, but Team Liquid are tanking the turret anyway. They'll be able to kill this without minions even.
Yeah, Baron buff time's up, but they've got 2 melee minions to join them. That could be enough to kill the Nexus turret. 20 seconds on the revives Liquid to pull in the game 2 upset. And Huni, what can you even do?
Baron buff has fallen off. It could be close here. The minions are still alive. Huni's trying to cut him.
There's no chance. They're going to close it out, and Liquid looking to continue the chain of upsets today. A game 2 victory over Immortals, and this series will go the distance. Elation from Dardoch and Lorlo, the jumping hug right as it went down, smiles on their faces. And
the critical picks for Team Liquid. They built so much around this Jhin and Braum, picking people off. They made it happen in the early game to get their lead, control the Drakes after that. Then they were able to make it happen in the mid game critically on Wild Turtle, the most important person on Team Immortals. And then with the string of Immortals walking in and giving over extra deaths, very quick execution on the end game there from Team Liquid to run with the picks that they were able to get.
and a beautiful job by the Liquid bottom lane. Fabi did what Piglet could not. He took a game off Immortals finally, but 4-0-10 on Fabi, 0-1-14 on Matt. The team only got 15 kills.
We keep on saying it with Fabi. You know, he's come in as this role player with the meta shifting towards the Ashe, the Jhin, and the Sivir. He's been a sniper for the team.
Yeah.
This was all about him finding long-range picks, whether it would be with the ultimate or with the Justice W. He was able to find them over and over again. Spoiler, he's probably going to be player of the game.
Yeah, I think there's a decent chance of that one.
In fact, we get to choose. So
in fact, yeah, we get to be a very large part of the vote, so that seems pretty likely. I still do want to give props to the rest of the team, though. Phoenix unkilled as well, 12 out of 15 for him. Kill participation, did plenty of damage. I'm going to check. He's probably highest damage in the game. The graph shows up. Yep, shocking. Victor, 22.7K. Yeah, reasonable stuff for him. And, another good mid laner who has worked well with the team. Dardoch, start a lot of those engages himself. I mean, it was a team victory for sure.
Yeah, Dardoch had a lot of good plays for the teams, to set up a lot of these picks, and be there for the knockups. There were some mistakes. I know he'll be mad at himself for making that they're definitely going to try and clean up, but we're tied at 1-1, baby. Let's take it to game 3.
It's going to be beautiful to watch. So for a closer look at that wonderful Liquid victory, let's check in with the analysts.
Thank you very much, gentlemen. Liquid getting their first victory over Immortals, in this series. Actually, their first victory against Immortals as an organization ever.
It's that mental roadblock. They're finally getting over it.
They finally did it, right? So they were 0-8 leading into this game. They're now 1-8 against Immortals. So like you said, that's going to feel really good. I think before anything else, mentally, especially for players like Dardoch, having actually gotten that victory over Rainover, the bane of the person who's been there to knock you down a peg every time you jump up a rung on the ladder, that's out of the way. Now, can they turn it around for game 3 and keep pushing that forward? That's the question. Diving into this game, though, and actually looking at it, of course, we saw the Olaf come out for Rainover, so already setting up the Sivir Olaf Zillion speed that we've seen them use to great effect before. Doesn't work out for them this time around.
Right, this is kind of almost a bread and butter comp for them where it's very face roll, like run in there, blow all your cooldowns, just ult the guy who gets low and looks like they're going to die.
Right.
What was a little tweak on it, though, was the Rise as opposed to another kind of carry. Most of the time, Huni would be on like a diver, like an Aurelia or something else that wants to go in. Rise really doesn't follow up the Olaf as well, and maybe that was part of it, as well as obviously some massive early game problems.
I think the idea of the Rise is that when you see Trundle, I don't know if Trundle was picked after or before.
Rise was first picked. First pick. Trundle was last picked.
But they
all right, maybe it was just for the Olaf then.
Yeah, because they took the Zillion, so they flexed the Rise to top, but that whole time.
That's true. Technically, the Rise could have gone mid lane that entire time until they pick Zillion in the last rotation.
But then they take Trundle into the Rise because obviously TL was holding it. So I think it was the kind of thing where TL was looking much more for comp. They wanted a tankier front line to match with Dardoch in case they had to run forward or just peel back, which Jhin can provide suppressing fire for and all that. So
And then if that's the case, then is mostly Dardoch going around the map, making plays and having follow-up with Fabi on the Jhin.
Right, and I think especially that was evident pretty early on at like 8 minutes when they got those kills in the top jungle.
Yeah, very much. Yeah, we have replay of that, so we're going to pull that one up there so that you can illustrate your point as you talk about it. But a 3-for-1 in the top lane, 8 minutes in for Team Liquid.
So this is the kind of plays that would usually go wrong for Team Liquid, but it finally goes right for them. They're usually getting pressured by Immortals, which is what's happening again, but they get them all in this little choke, which is just a perfect shooting gallery for Jhin to start lighting them up. Phoenix actually flashed over the wall to get away, but it manages to keep him safe, so he's able to keep doing damage throughout this fight. And Dardoch is just already relatively tanky and is able to deal with the lower level members of Immortals in Rise and Nami, and he's not able to get bursted down the way he would later in the game, so the fact that this fight happens early like this is much better for them.
Yeah, a level 4 Rise just kind of doesn't have many options in a team fight. My cooldowns aren't there yet. I'm not that rapid fire mage that could put the DPS out, so you definitely saw Huni there kind of at a loss for what to do in a fight like that in a small choke.
Yeah, since it was 2 versus 1, it takes a little bit longer for Rise to get set up. And since TL was really aggressive early in mid-game, they were able to take that advantage and run with it.
Very much that aggression paying off for him. You got something to add there?
Yeah, just a small note on the fact that it was a 2v1 was TL had a wave going in bottom during that time, and often situations people just kind of trade pressure, and TL actually backed out before the wave hit the turret and decided that they wanted to react to Immortals as opposed to trade. And I think that might have caught them a little off guard because Immortals thinks they're getting this free red contest, when in reality, Team Liquid's collapsing out of nowhere. This Jhin all starts firing over the top.
Right, so the expectation of the normal occurrence in a game is like, hey, we'll sacrifice this side of the map, you will take this side. Liquid saying, nah, we're going to contest you this time around, maybe catching Immortals off guard. Want to push us ahead 28 minutes into the game. Liquid's going to pick up a 3-for-0 at Baron, as well as pick up the Baron itself here. And this was big because it's the Baron that allows them to finish out the game.
Right, Turtle just gets absolutely popped at the very beginning, just with the Jhin and Matt being able to CC him and take him out. And once the Sivir's down, there's not as much threat on the Baron, so they actually just catch Pobelter as they start to look towards the Baron, and Pobelter's caught out of position. It's a chase down and stun onto him. He's able to get blown up very quickly. He gets his ult off, but it's not going to really do anything. It's just their carries are dying at the start of fights, and it's just sloppy. By the time Huni comes in, I mean, the fight's mostly over.
He'll do what he can, but it's not quite enough.
Yeah, it feels like Matt and Dardoch are just like the start of every single fight, followed up by Fabi, and then good plays by Phoenix and the team overall.
Very much so. I mean, this one thing that has been consistent with this team, no matter who's on the roster, or at least within this year, is the fact that when a call is made, the Liquid guys, they follow it, right? Like they are a team that hasn't really had a whole lot of trouble saying like, we're gonna go hard, we're gonna go all the time, just like Immortals has as well. And so they very much reflect each other in that aspect of their play. And they follow each other up, they back each other up. Player of the game going to Fabi this time around, gonna pick it up on that Jhin. His ults were key, and we saw it a couple times there in the choke. Great ultimate to start that fight off. We saw it a couple other times in the bot lane, picking up a few kills.
That one as well.
So definitely utilizing that Jhin as somewhat of a utility carry.
Right, and moving into game 3, I think they might look to do something about it, because it's not really Turtle's champion, and he's just going to play that every game. I mean, he's done it, I don't know how many games in a row now that he's just been on the Jhin. So I think Immortals might look at something to do with that, but this was still a scary game for Liquid, where even though they were getting all these winning skirmishes, they were not really ahead in gold.
Yeah, Fabi's job was made very easy by Dardoch and Matt, like just running around the map together. And so when he hits those skill shots and hits those ults, it just becomes devastating for the one getting caught.
All right, my final question to you guys is that since we're moving to Game 3, at the beginning of the day, we talked about TSM and Immortals being head and shoulders above the rest of the teams. Does Team Liquid have what it takes to knock them down a peg, take this series 2-1?
I want to believe them. They're my boys, but it took so much in this game to go right for Team Liquid in order for them to win, and it wasn't even that big.
Convincing.
It's not that it wasn't convincing, but it wasn't like, oh, we won this 4-for-1, and now we're up 5K. It's like, we're up 1K.
Right.
It was still scary watching it, so I'm a little hesitant to say, like, Team Liquid's looking good, but they're aggressive, and if they win early skirmishes, they can win the series.
I feel like Immortals got caught off guard a little bit, but at the same time, I feel like Dardoch made two mess ups to where he overextended,
Right, yeah.
and
Gotcha.
that also stopped them from snowballing. So it's kind of depends on the players, but I feel like Immortals will adapt more, so it'll be really, really close, but I would still favor Immortals.
Very much. Immortals still favored in this one, but we'll see if Team Liquid can do it as we move to Game 3 in this series between them. Everyone put down your Pikachus, call up your relatives, grab a tub of popcorn, and get ready to get your freak on, I guess. When we return, we have the deciding Game 3 between Liquid and Immortals. You're watching North American LCS.